Regular commission meeting of Tuesday, April the 9th, 2024, to order at 6 p.m. May we please stand for the invocation provided by Vice Mayor Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you today, God, to say thank you for another day. God, we thank you, oh God, for bringing us here today, God, safe and sound. God, we thank you, oh God, that we're here today, God, to conduct the business of the city. God, we thank you, oh God, as we get ready, God, to swear in, God, our two new commissioners today. God, we ask you, oh God, that we come together, God, that we can agree to disagree, God, upon matters, oh God, that means, oh God, the benefit of this city, oh God, as a whole. God, you be with us, oh God. You direct us, oh God. You give us wisdom, and God, you give us understanding. And God, we thank you, oh God. God, we cannot do anything, God, without you. So God, we put this city, oh God, into your hands, oh God. And God, we know, God, that you have it all under control. And God, we give you thanks, we give you honor, and we give you glory, and we give you praise today. And God, we thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Bowden,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Perez, City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney, here, City Clerk, here.
City Manager, at this time, do we have any additions on an emergency basis?
No, sir, but I would like to ask of the commission to move up the swearing in and the ethics training before public comments.
I'll second. You want to make the motion?
You have to put a motion. Put a motion. I'll
You
second.
making the motion?
She make the motion, I'll second it.
Mayor, I make a motion that we will move up to swearing in of the two new commissioners, also the ethics training.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and probably second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption of the agenda with the two addition, one being that the presentation, which consists of the swearing in, will be moved up front, followed by the ethic training. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we will move to the swearing in of our newly elected city commissioners. First, we'll have Commissioner Sanquetta Cowan Williams. And if you would come up and be sworn in up front with the clerk.
Yeah, somebody have Bible. Oh. I state your name,
I, Sanquetta Cowan Williams,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
the Constitution of the government of the United States of America
in the state of Florida,
in the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of this state
under the Constitution of the United States
and the Charter of the City of Pahokee,
and the Charter of the City of Pahokee,
that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of the City of Pahokee,
of the office of the City of Pahokee,
in which I am now about to enter,
in which I am now about to enter,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome, Commissioner
Thank you.
Howard Williams.
And Commissioner Cowan, you may take your seat in the seat of former City Commissioner Sarah Perez. And congratulations. Next, we'll have the swearing in of our next newly elected City Commissioner, Mr. Everett D. McPherson Sr.
Okay. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Everett D. McPherson Sr.,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
the Constitution of the Government of the United States of America
in the state of Florida.
in the state of Florida.
That I am duly qualified to hold office
I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of this state
under the Constitution of this state
and the charter of the city of Pahokee.
and the charter of the city of Pahokee.
That I will well and faithfully perform the duties
I will well and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of the city of Pahokee
of the office of the city of Pahokee,
on which I am about to enter.
for which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Commissioner McPherson.
Commissioner McPherson. As our newly elected City Commissioner, sir, you may take your seat on the dais. And congratulations, sir. I'd like to also wish and thank former Commissioner Gonzalez for his service in office. Next on our agenda would be the ethic training, and I have our city manager introduce the presenter.
Thank you, Mayor. Will Ms. Rhonda Geiger come up to the microphone for Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics to perform our ethics training?
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll do my best to stay in one place. I tend to be more of a wanderer. Before we jump into the training today, well, thanks everybody for being here for the ethics training. I love class participation, so let's ask lots of questions, and this way you guys will know what everybody has to go through if you're not a city or county employee, if you're here as a citizen. We love citizen participation. But what I do want to say today, before I start, is I am not here to teach anybody ethics. Everybody already has their own internal code. Every single person in here has developed their own code. What I want you to do is understand how to apply your internal code, your personal code, to the Palm Beach County Code of Ethics, making sure that you stay within the confines of that and don't run afoul or get on the wrong side of it. So that's all I want to do. Well, that's not all I want to do, but that's the main thing I want to do today, is give everybody an understanding of how the Code of Ethics applies to your life, not only professionally, but how it crosses over into your personal life as well. It doesn't end when you're off the clock. So you know, once you sit down on your sofa for the night, it's not over for us public servants. We still have this Code of Ethics that we have to abide by. So just jumping in, excuse me, we have a commission. I am governed by a commission, the Commission on Ethics. We don't answer necessarily to the county commissioners. We have our own commission that we answer to, and they are appointed by these 5 different entities, and they oversee what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we have to make sure that they are happy with our job, they are happy with our work. And that leads us into what we do on a day-to-day basis. So what we do is I feel like it used to be primarily investigate complaints, but now we really want to answer questions. We want to be a proactive agency and not a reactive agency. We want to be the people that are there when you guys have a question, not the people that are there when something has gone terribly wrong and a complaint has been filed. So we really want to emphasize that. Are there people in the room that are taking the training other than other than the elected officials? So you guys are taking it for, okay. So are you taking it because you're employed in a government job? Yes, nobody? Just, okay. Just want to make sure, I'm you want me to stand closer? I can do that. Told you I like to walk. So what we do is answer questions all the time, and that goes for you. If you have a question about what you can or cannot do in the course of your job or in your personal life, we are here to answer your questions. But also that goes to you. If you guys have a question about something or something that is happening in your community, we're here to answer your questions too. We're here for everybody, not just the people who are required to take the training today.
Ms. Rhonda,
Yes.
you can pull that mic out and walk around.
I feel like I don't want to, but it feels very Phil Donahue. Am I aging myself by saying that? Probably. Yes. Okay, now you're in trouble. There's no camera? I don't have to stay on camera?
It moves.
You guys are in trouble. Excellent. Okay, now I'm free. All right, so I'm here to answer questions. We investigate complaints. We'll get this down, I swear. Investigate. Oh, that one's not on. Okay, it's not going to amplify as much? Great. All right. Provide advisory opinions. That's another big thing that we do. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, about how those advisory opinions guide everybody in their day-to-day job. But what that can be is a commissioner can call us and say, hey, I have a potential conflict. I'm not sure if I should vote on this or not. Here's the facts. Will you please put this in writing so I can rely on this and go ahead and either vote or not vote? And that way all the people sitting in the audience don't say, hey, that guy's voting on something he shouldn't be voting on, because the Commission on Ethics already put it in writing and answered the question, so everybody knows that that commissioner is doing the right thing. An example, one of another city's commissioner, her spouse was on the police department. The police department contract was coming before the commission. So it seems like there shouldn't be a vote, but we have a whole process that we go through, and we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But that way, that commissioner got to sit in front of all of the people and say, yes, I can vote on this, and this is why. And we had a whole big explanation on why she could do that. So that's one of the big things that we do. We have hundreds and hundreds of advisory opinions. So if you have a question, pretty good chance that there's been an advisory opinion on it, but if there isn't, we're going to write that up for you and you can rely on it. That becomes part of our case law. Obviously, we're going to do training and community outreach, which is why I am here tonight. And then, as I said, my main thing here is just to make sure everybody here understands that you all understand your responsibilities and that you all understand their responsibilities. It's important that we all work together. It's lovely to see such a huge group here, because local government is where it all starts. Local government is what keeps us all together. And if the local people have faith in their local government, things go smoothly. It's when we start seeing a backslide on that we start running into, that we start having problems. So let's do everything we can to keep faith in our local government. That's what we want. We want open government and transparency. Okay, so what's the purpose of the Code of Ethics? Well, it's to promote honest and ethical conduct. We want not only our elected officials, but also government employees like me. We want us to be honest and ethical, and we want the people who are paying my salary or your salary to believe in what we're doing every day. We want to protect confidential information. We want to make sure that none of us are taking information that we learned while on our job and going and making a personal profit on that. We want to be working for the people, not for ourselves or our close family members. And then ultimately, we want to increase trust in local government. That is the big thing here. We want transparency. We want, if you see your local commissioner out doing something, we want you to think, oh, that's great, not, oh, I wonder what's going on there. Is that some behind the scenes deal? We want everybody to believe that our local officials are doing the right thing. So who does it apply to? All county and municipal employees, elected officials, and advisory board members. Who does it not apply to? Anybody in this room? These guys? Do you know why it doesn't apply to them? Do you know why? Because you're state officers, so you have to follow the state code of. So yes, they're not. This is for local officials. So like the clerk and comptroller. Did you hear that? I think my microphone's beeping. Anyway, the sheriff, they are state reporters, so they don't apply, or the local code of ethics doesn't apply to them. But anybody in this room that is an official or an employee, and who said it does not apply to the citizens? Somebody said it, I heard it. You're right. Whoever said it, now claim it. It doesn't apply to the citizens. You're right. That's exactly right. So it does not apply to state officers or employees or constitutional officers. All right, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the ethics decision tree, and it's a 4-step process we just ask everybody to go through before they do or don't do something with respect to decisions that may invoke the code. And then we're going to talk about these 3 things. Excuse me, prohibited conduct, gift law, and then some miscellaneous provisions that a lot of people don't know about. All right, so the ethics decision tree, it's a 4-step process. The first thing we want you to do before you do or don't do something in the course of your job is ask yourself, is it legal? And so let's just make it super, super simple. So let's say after this, I say to you, hey, I want to buy you a cup of coffee. Would that be all right?
Yes,
Is it legal? Is it legal?
it's legal.
It's legal, right? There's nothing in the law that says that I can't buy somebody a cup of coffee. Everybody agree with that? Yes, we're all good? Okay, so that's your first step. But what we want to make sure is you think very broadly on this. Don't think narrowly. Think local law, think state law, think federal law. Don't look for a loophole to get out of this whole is it legal thing. Err on the side of caution when you're asking yourself, is it legal? The next step we want you to ask is, does it comply with the code of ethics? So, does that comply with the code of ethics?
Yes.
Yes, it does. I love these confident answers. Yes, that does comply with the code of ethics. There is absolutely nothing wrong with me buying you a cup of coffee. Does it comply with the city of Pahokee's personal policy?
Yes.
Yes. You know, I don't know the answer to that, so I'm glad you did. Is it identical to ours? Frequently they are? Yes. Okay. So yes. Then those 2 answers are going to be the same. Yes, that's totally fine. The last question, and this might be one that we get hung up on a little bit sometimes, even if there's nothing wrong with any of those 3. And I'm going to change this scenario up a little bit. I'm going to say, let's say that instead of just giving an ethics training here tonight, I was here doing a presentation on something, and I was asking for your vote, and you voted on that, and you voted in my favor. And then I said, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Same 3 answers, right? Legal, not against the code, not against your policy. But the next question is, could it create a problem? How does that look? How would that look if you and I walked out after you just voted in favor of my project and I start buying you a cup of coffee, right? So those are the things we want you to think about. Even if you get through those first 3 steps, ask yourself, how is this going to look if it's on the evening news? And you're not going to be in any trouble. That's not going to be an ethics violation. But we want you to think broadly when you're asking yourself, should I do or not do something? And I would say that's probably a no. That would be a good time to say, no, I'll catch you later, or see you around town, or something like that. But maybe decline that cup of coffee. So yes, solid answers. Okay, prohibited conduct. And you guys, if anybody wants me to slow down, I will, but it looks like you have a lot of people here that want to talk, so I'm trying not to belabor things unless we have questions. So you guys all ask questions too, if you have them. All right, prohibited conduct. These are the 4 sections we're going to cover: misuse of office, corrupt misuse of official position, disclosure of voting conflicts, and then contractual relationships. So the first thing we're going to talk about is misuse of office. So this is like a multifaceted question here, or whether or not there's a violation. So we have to have several different levels being satisfied before there would be a violation. So first off, the public employees and officials are prohibited from using their official position in a manner that results in a special financial benefit. not just a financial benefit. It has to be a special financial benefit being given to any one of these 7 categories. So any one of these 7 categories cannot receive a special financial benefit based on an action you undertook or chose not to take. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm on a city council, and obviously I live in my community because I'm on the council, and I say, I think we should lower everybody's property taxes by $1,000 a year. Well, I'm going to get the benefit of that, right? Because I own a home, or I own property here, so I'm going to get that benefit. Can I vote on that? Why? Well, who else is going to get a benefit for it? Everybody. Everybody's. If trust me, if they couldn't vote on things that might have a benefit on them, they would never be able to vote. They live in this community. This is also their community. So they can vote on things that have a financial benefit, just not what? A special financial benefit, exactly. So you can't give a special financial benefit to any of these 7 categories. Yourself, a household member, spouse or domestic partner, the outside business or employer of you, your spouse or domestic partner, a close family relative or their business or employer, a customer or client of their business or employer, a significant debtor or creditor, and then any organization upon which you sit on the board of directors. So if you're on the board of directors of your church or like a nonprofit, Peggy Adams, anything like that, you couldn't do something that would benefit that agency upon which you sit on their board. All right, everybody get this memorized because it's going to apply all the way throughout the code. Very good? You guys good? Memorized? All right. Okay, so special financial benefit. We talked about this a little, but financial benefit is anything of value that is obtained through your official position as a governmental employee or an elected official. And then what makes it special, as we talked about, is when it's not shared with similarly situated members of the general public. So if everyone is affected by the decision, then it's not special. But if the class is small enough, and we have followed the state commission with respect to this, applying the standard, if it's a class of 100 or less, it's probably going to be considered special. But if it's a class of 100 or more, and you happen to fall into that, then it will not be special. So for there to be a violation of this provision of the code, we have to have a financial benefit that is considered special that benefits one of the 7 prohibited entities. Does that make perfect sense to everybody? Okay, well, if it doesn't, ask, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about this. A code enforcement officer, oh, we have a code enforcement officer in here, right? No? Yes? All right. Powers of observation. A code enforcement officer is assigned to, I'm going to change it to her, assigned to inspect property owned by her son. May she inspect her son's property? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
It's her job. Yes, it's her job, right? I mean, like, I liken this to if I'm a 911 call taker and I say, 911, what's your emergency? And so it's my mom. I'm not going to go, sorry, Mom.
That's right.
Right? I mean, I'm just going to do my job. I'm probably not going to dispatch my brother to that call if I can help it. But if I can't, then sure, he's going there too. So just do your job. You guys are perfectly right. Yes, you may inspect your son's property. You may inspect your son's property, but what do you need to make sure you do? Just do your job. Right, exactly. Is anybody uncomfortable with that? That she's inspecting her son's property? No? I mean, to be honest, we would prefer if you had a choice you didn't. Like if you have another code officer, you say, hey, can you do this? But if you have to do it, if you're the only one, we don't want you hiring somebody to go take care of that. So if you can assign it out, do. If you can't, just do your job, dot your I's, cross your T's, be absolutely ethical in that. So probably not, but do it if you have to. All right, what about this? Now you notice that there are violations and you cite only the properties on either side of your son. Have you done anything wrong now? And what portion of the code? Special financial benefit, right? One of the class of 3 received this benefit where they did not have to clean their sidewalk. So does everybody agree that's a violation of the code? Yeah. You can't use your position to give a special financial benefit to your son. That's one of the prohibited 7, right? Any questions? You guys all enjoying this? I bet. Okay, disclosure of voting conflicts. All right, this is where you all come into play. This is mainly going to be the section of the code that applies to you. So, an official may not vote on or participate in discussions in any matter that will provide a special financial benefit to specific persons or entities. And you guys all remember that list of 7, right? Everybody memorized it? Same list of 7 here. So you can't vote on or participate in discussions that benefit yourself, your spouse, domestic partner, or other household member, an outside employer or business of any of those people, a close family relative or their business or employer, a customer or client of your outside business or employer, substantial debtor or creditor, and then once again, any organization upon which you serve as an officer or director. Okay, so let's get into what this component. Vote on water lines. Proposal comes before the town council about water lines, about voting on water lines and whether or not to install them and where they should go. And we all know water lines have value, right? Everybody wants new water lines. One of the council members lives in a neighborhood of 150 homes that is going to get that water line. May that council member vote on this? Yes. Over 100, right? Simple. So yes. Even though the council member is going to receive the benefit of those new water lines, it is okay for he or she to vote on that because the class is large enough. What part are we missing here? We have a financial benefit, we have the prohibited 7, but we don't have special, right? So absent any one of those 3 things, we're not going to have a violation of the code. Remember, you have to have a prohibited class, a financial benefit that is special before there's any type of code violation. So those are the 3 things that we're going to look for when we're talking about this. So yes, you guys are all exactly right. The class here is sufficiently large so that the public official can vote on this. There is no special financial benefit, even if there is a benefit. Good? All right. Road improvement. City councilman is on the board of directors of his local church, which is a nonprofit. The city council is going to vote on whether or not to pave the road that the church sits on, and there are 25 properties. May the city councilman discuss or vote on whether or not to pave the road in front of the church? What are the 3 things we're looking for?
Special.
So we have a prohibited class, right? Paving has value. Paved roads have value. And is it special? Yes? What makes it special? The size of the class. The size of the class is what makes it special here. So remember, the class only had 25 people. So yes, where the public official, oops, sorry, wrong way. So he would not be allowed to because the class here is too small. That is special, yes. So that's what makes it's special here. So we have a prohibited entity receiving the benefit. We have a financial benefit that has become special because the size of the class is under 100. It's only 25 here. Yes? Everybody good? Okay. Corrupt misuse of official position. The misuse of office really feels to me like maybe there's not as much intent behind it. This corrupt misuse has an intent element to it, an intent component. So here, the action is typically very, it's done intentionally, I guess, just to put it simply. So here, you may not use your official position, so your employment with the government or your employment as an elected official to corruptly secure a special benefit, same list of 7, for any person. The difference here is this does not have to be financial. This can be any benefit. So, like, let me put it to you this way. If I'm a supervisor and one of my employees comes to me and says, hey, I'll dog sit for you on the weekends if you let me work from home, and I say, hey, that sounds good, I could use a dog sitter. There's no exchange of cash, right? There's no financial benefit, but that person is receiving the benefit of being able to work from home when nobody else is, and that's not necessarily what's good for my employer. So that's what makes that the element there where it does not have to be financial. Think of it in those kind of terms. It can be sort of an exchange or favors or things like that. So, a special benefit is any benefit that you are not entitled to have or give. May be financial, but also might not be. And then corruptly means done with the wrongful intent and inconsistent with the proper performance of your public duties. So again, if I let somebody work from home so they watch my dog, that's not, the intent is not good for my employer. It's not done with the best intentions of Palm Beach County. That is done for my personal benefit. So I've used my position for my personal benefit. So that would be corrupt misuse. Okay, parking ticket. City manager received a parking citation after parking in a restricted parking lot. City manager approaches the parking officer and says, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm the city manager, I have a parking placard, I just forgot to put it up. And the parking officer voids that ticket. Well, as it turns out, the city manager did not have a special parking placard. Has the city manager done anything wrong? Yes, this is a resounding yes, he has done something wrong. That's for his own personal benefit, right? Obviously would have tried to park for free if he could have got that, but then he got a ticket voided. And I'll tell you one thing, if my name ever was on a parking ticket, even if I had the authority to get it voided, I'm paying that. I don't want void written across a ticket that has my name on it. So think of it in those terms again. We get back to number 4 there, how would it look? So even if I had a parking placard that I forgot to put up, I'm going to go through 1, 2, 3 of my decision tree. I'm going to get to number 4 and I'm going to probably say, yeah, I think I'm just going to pay this. I think this is my mistake. But here you guys are right. Of course, the city manager did violate the corrupt misuse because it's wrongful intent and inconsistent with the proper performance of his public duties. Okay. Every employee in the city department is required to sit for an annual certification exam. It's paid for by the city. It's taken while on city time. So while at work, half the employees take the exam Monday, the other half take the exam on Friday. One of Monday's test takers gets copies of both the questions and the answers and provides that to all of Friday's test takers. Has this employee violated the corrupt misuse component of the code? Who says yes? One place I did this instruction, somebody in the back said, ma'am, that's just good teamwork. So we have to look at the action. Who was this action done to benefit? It wasn't done to benefit the employer, right? Because, I, for one, want every lifeguard to have passed their exam. I want every CPA to have to, pass whatever exams they need. Every engineer, you can go down the line. So giving those questions and answers is not in the best interest of the municipal agency or the county, whatever it might be. So yes, this is a violation. It's done with the wrongful intent, and it definitely does not benefit the employer. So yes, this is corrupt misuse of official position. Some of you said no, you didn't think so. How come? Or do you now agree with me? You think it was teamwork? No? Okay. All right. Contractual relationships. So this is like having a second job. So any city employees, county employees that have a second job, you just have to make sure that you don't cross the lines and commingle those two things. So we're going to talk about how this applies to people that work in government. So the code does regulate some contracts you may enter into in your private capacity because of your public employment or because of your elected position. So generally, your outside employer or your outside business cannot do work for the city in which you work or serve. And that's generally. But like any good rule, where we say you can't do business, we're going to give you back some exceptions that's going to allow you to do that business. And these make sense. These are done with the best interest of everybody in mind. So the exceptions would be if your outside employer is another governmental entity, if it is a sealed bid, low bid contract, and you meet all the other criteria. So when you think of this would be like if you work for the city of Pahokee, your son would qualify, right? Remember, because we said household member or relative, so your son would not be able to apply for these jobs unless it meets these exceptions. So this is why this is important in a broader sense, is this is going to apply to that list of 7 also. Except for if it's an emergency purchase. So if you have the only excavating company and trees are down all over the road and it's a hurricane, we're going to be able to hire you under 2 exceptions. What are those? Sole source of supply and emergency. Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be A-okay. There's not going to be any maximum contract number on that. So the exceptions are going to apply across the board. So sole source of supply, emergency, less than $500 per year is also going to be okay. One of the big ones is if you're a public employee and you meet the part-time outside employment exception and obtain a waiver, and we'll talk a little bit more about when that is necessary. And then for police and fire, extra duty details are exceptions. You don't have to have a waiver for those. Okay, so part-time outside employment waiver, do you need to file one? So the question you must answer is your potential part-time employer a vendor of your government employer? So what I always say here is, let's just say that I fulfill my lifelong dream of working at Home Depot on the weekends to get the discount. Do you know what that same person told me that said, just good teamwork? He's like, you don't get a discount at Home Depot if you work there. Did you guys know that? Doesn't that seem terrible? I feel like you should get a discount if you work there. Anyway, so let's say I take this job at Home Depot, and I promise you Home Depot has a contract with Palm Beach County, right? I mean, whatever level that might be. I have to say to myself, okay, there's a potential conflict. I am working for somebody that has a contract with my county. So the first thing I say is my potential part-time employer a vendor of my public employer? The answer here is yes. If the answer is yes, which it is in my situation where I get my job at Home Depot, if they are not, then I have to go to a second step. If they are not a vendor, then I don't need a waiver. I just go get my job and I move on and I live my dream and everybody's happy. But since Home Depot is a vendor of my employer, I have to go through this step and see whether or not I need a waiver. And the first question I want to ask is, now that I know they have contracts, they are a vendor, did I have anything to do with that contract? Well, for me, the answer is no. I do nothing important. I have nothing to do with anything, any awards, anything financial. So all I have to do is get that waiver and move on. But I'll tell you why this is important that we examine this, is what if I work for the county and I'm in charge of procuring all the light bulbs? And Home Depot supplies all those light bulbs, and then I go get a job at Home Depot. Who here isn't going to think that that looks a little dodgy, like I got that second job just because I'm giving them 1 million light bulbs that maybe they're paying too much money for that they could be getting from somewhere else? And that is not the case with Home Depot at all. I'm just using this as a random example. But that's why if you're in charge of a contract, or if you have something to do with the contract, if you oversee the contract, if you participated in the contract, you can't work for the company that the contract was awarded to. So that is an unavoidable conflict. So in my situation, I just get a waiver, I file it, I go work my Home Depot job on Saturdays. If I'm in charge of the contract, it is an unwaivable conflict, and I can't have that job. I can't accept it. And we have had to tell people no, that they can't do that. So if you have a second job, just go through this step or call us and we'll answer any of the questions you might have and help and walk you through it. But if you do, just get the waiver, complete it and sign it, have your supervisor sign it, send the original to your people here, and then send us a copy and we'll keep it on file to make sure that it's been noted that that the conflict was, there's a waiver on file. Any questions on secondary employment? Okay. A city employee would like to start a part-time business where she performs IT consulting work outside of work hours. She's employed full-time by the city IT department, and she learned everything she knows while working on the job. They taught her everything. Can she perform IT work during non-work hours when she's an employee of the city IT department? What do you guys think? Yeah? Yeah? Right? Everybody agree? Nothing I've told you says she can't do that, right? You guys all agree? Yes? Yes, the answer is yes.
As long as she doesn't use our equipment.
Did you hear that? As long as she doesn't use our equipment. What else can't she do?
Can't use the city's name.
Can't use the city's name?
Vehicles.
Anything? What else? What's the biggest thing she can't do?
She can't do it while she's working.
She can't do it while she's working? She also can't work for who? The city. Yes, that's the biggest one. So unless, of course, there's an exception, but generally, yeah, as long as she's not providing those services to her city directly or indirectly, and she follows the public employer, because some people have very restrictive secondary employment, as long as she follows all the rules, yes, she can go out and start her own IT company. However, as everybody, you guys nailed them all, she can't use city resources, she can't allude to her position with the city, she can't wear her shirt, her uniform with the logo on it, and she can't drive a city vehicle. So you guys got them all. Everybody listed all of the ones we want to remind you of. Don't print out contracts on your city email. Don't meet in city buildings. Just keep your second job and your city job far, far apart from each other. That's the best advice I can give you. Everybody good? Okay. So everybody was right. She can do that. She just can't do those other things. Oh, wait. Did we miss one? No. Okay, sorry. What about this? Contractual relationships. So again, think broadly. Think big in that list of 7 here. The child of a city employee solely owns a pressure cleaning business. The city employee does no work for the business and is not involved with the business in any way. May the child of the city employee enter into a contract with the city and not violate the code of ethics? Yes, I have a yes. What do you guys think? What does that list of 7 say?
I think it says no.
The list of 7 does very vaguely say no. The only reason, the people that, I mean, would really expect nobody to have this answer right, because you have to go into the definitions to understand that the code defines your outside business as an outside business of your son, your wife, any of those people. So that's why it becomes a prohibition. When would it be okay? If they were the only company, if there was an emergency, yes, you guys are totally right. Yes, generally no, but any of these exceptions are going to apply. So now that you know a child can't work, what I need you to do if that ever happens, if you see that happening, is say to yourself before you say, hey, that person's dodgy, they shouldn't have gotten that contract, say to yourself, does one of the exceptions apply? So remember that those are going to apply across the board in this situation. Everybody good? All right. Gift law, the transfer of anything of economic value without lawful and adequate consideration. So that's just your legal definition of a gift, but we all know what a gift is, right? I mean, somebody must have had a birthday this month, they got a gift. We know what it is. With respect to gift law, it's very broadly defined, but there are some absolute prohibitions here. No kickbacks or bribes, no quid pro quo, and no tips, with one single exception. Who here has tipped somebody in the last week? Anybody? Yeah? What'd you tip them for? Who'd you tip?
I tipped my server at a restaurant.
And what'd you tip your server for?
Because you make this service.
Excellent service, right? So that's what a tip is. And we tend to equate that to what happens in a restaurant, but I need everybody to remember that the code defines a tip very, very broadly. So we all think of it as tipping our server, but that can go, when you're tipping somebody for service, that's a tip, right? So just remember that as we move through this section. So here's the advisory opinion that allows tips. When the code first came into effect, it was a big kerfluffle because the municipal golf courses, all of a sudden, their servers couldn't accept tips anymore, and that's essentially what brought them to a living wage. So this advisory opinion allows servers who work for municipalities or the county to receive tips. So if you're in a service-related job where standard compensation within that service occupation is tips, then it's okay to receive them even if you are a governmental employee or elected official. Okay? So, gift law. This is where it gets complicated. So, it's not really. We're going to talk through it. Prohibition, the code prohibits soliciting or accepting over $100 annually in the aggregate in gifts from any vendor, any bidder or proposer, so anybody trying to be a vendor, any lobbyist, or any principal of a lobbyist. So I'm from Washington State, and I always like to use the Seahawks as an example because I think everybody would want to go to a Seahawks game if they were playing in Miami. So I'm going to say to you, Mr. Lucas, you're sitting down, is there a coffee shop here in town? No? You're sitting at the park, and somebody walks by and says, hey, Mr. Lucas, I have these Seahawks tickets. Well, some people would call them Miami Dolphins tickets, and I don't want them. Would you like to go? And you're thinking to yourself, heck yeah, I want to go to the Seahawks game. Can you accept those tickets from this person? Not would you, but could you?
I could accept it.
Do you need to know anything first? Because they're very expensive.
How much the price is on the ticket?
What else?
Also, that we don't do business with that person.
Who is giving me this gift?
Yeah.
So if it's just me, Rhonda Geiger, saying, hey, I sadly can't go watch my beloved Seahawks. Do you want to go? And you really want to go, and you know I'm not a vendor, a bidder, a lobbyist, or the principal of a lobbyist. Whether you would accept them or not, could you?
As long as it's under $100.
Who thinks it doesn't matter what the price is? Anybody? You can't or you wouldn't? But I'm not any of those four things. Why couldn't you?
Perception.
Well, okay, so I didn't say would you, I said could you. So let's say could an employee. Let's say you're offering me those tickets. Could I accept them? I want to go see my beloved Seahawks. You're not a vendor, a bidder, a proposer, a lobbyist, or principal employer of a lobbyist of the county. Could I accept those tickets from you if you offered them to me?
Yeah.
Yes. Why?
We have notified to the city affairs.
Yeah. So this $100 only applies to gifts from these four entities: vendor, bidder or proposer, somebody who is a lobbyist, or somebody who employs a lobbyist. That's where the $100 comes in. There is no upper limit on accepting a gift from somebody who is not in one of those four categories, okay? So this would be, I could accept that if I really want. First of all, I'll tell you, nobody's ever offered me a single gift, not so much as a pen. So this is really, really a wild scenario, but let's just stick with this. I could accept those from you as long as I know who you are. I know who you are. I know you're not any of those things. What would I then have to do if I accepted those?
Disclose.
Yeah, I'd have to report it. That's it. Because of why? Transparency. We want everybody to know that there's nothing underhanded, nothing behind the scenes going on. So I could accept those tickets if I made sure I filled out the gift form appropriately. So that's that $100 only comes in if it's one of those four prohibited entities. What if I am one of those and I say, hey, I have a Sunfest ticket. It's worth $75. But in all, just fair disclosure, I'm a vendor for the city. Do you want this Sunfest ticket? Could you? The answer is no. You probably sounds like you wouldn't accept it, but could you? Yes, as long as it's under that $100. Yeah, exactly. So if it gets over 100, it becomes prohibited and disallowed. But anything under 100 from any of those four categories is okay. All right? We're going to move on to the other part where So this is slightly different, where there's a prohibition on soliciting any gifts. So remember, this one was soliciting or accepting. This one is soliciting any gift from those same four categories: vendor, bidder, lobbyist, principal, or employer, where the gift is for your personal benefit or the personal benefit from somebody around you. Why is that? You know what? Let's say you're trying to be a vendor of the city, and I'm an elected official, and I say, hey, I don't suppose you have any extra Seahawks tickets. I'd really like to take my kid. How much pressure are you going to feel under as a vendor to give up your precious Seahawks tickets if somebody who's in charge of whether or not you get a contract wants to go? So that's why you can't ask for them, because we don't want the people on the other end to feel like they are compelled to give you that gift if you solicit it. There's going to be pressure on them to feel like, I'm not going to get my contract renewed if I don't give these tickets, beloved Seahawks tickets, up. I'm not going to get that contract I so desperately need if I don't find a way. So that's why there's no soliciting in this section. Make perfect sense? Transparency, remember? Okay, reporting requirements, state reporters. So this is all of you. While the prohibitions against taking certain gifts with respect to you within Palm Beach County applies to state reporters, you are governed by the reporting requirements of the state and not by us. So that means you're going to define gifts under state law, and you're going to file the quarterly gift form with the state, but also with us, and you're going to do that every how many days? Anybody know? Every 90 days for state reporters. So if you've accepted a gift, you must file that gift form within 90 days. So we'll talk about that. So this is local. This is state reporters. So local officers and certain administrative managers. So quarterly reporting, as I said, and then you're going to file that with the state and then a copy with us. So this is the state form. So just make sure you recognize that there is a difference. If somebody were to give me tickets to watch my beloved Seahawks, I would have to file a different form. That would be, I would file the local form because I'm a local reporter. But we're always here to answer questions, so just make sure you reach out to us or to the Florida Commission on Ethics. So for us, non-state reporters, any gifts valued in excess of $100 per year given by anyone to a public employee must be reported on an annual basis to the Commission on Ethics, unless, of course, it's one of the exceptions that we'll talk about in a little bit. So any gifts in excess of $100 per year. What if your spouse gets you a really nice ring? You guys going to report that? This says any gift, right? We hope it's one of the exceptions, don't we? Or we hope everybody gets a nice ring and has to report it, I suppose. But here are the exceptions. Gifts from relatives or members of your household, personal gifts, as long as, even if they're given in the workplace, as long as the motivation is friendship and not some sort of quid pro quo. Awards for civic or professional achievement, advertising materials, gifts solicited on behalf of your public employer for a public purpose, any inheritance, lawful political contributions, and then registration fees for conferences are not considered gifts. So those are all exceptions that do not have to be reported by anyone, whether you're state or local. All right, here's the local gift form. So this would be what I would have to file. The difference here is that I only have to file once per year, so I file it sometime in the year or sometime in the month of January in the year following when I accepted the gift. Again, that's not so far been a problem for me. Never had the chance to turn one down, but that's the difference. It's quarterly for state reporters and then once a year for us. So be careful of regifting. So, Mr. Lucas, let's just say that you accepted the Seahawks tickets because you were so excited to go. And then your buddy sitting next to you says, "Isn't that lady a vendor of the city?" And you say, "Oh no, what have I done?" And then you pass those tickets over here and say, "Hey, I got these Seahawks tickets. Do you want to go?" And you don't know where they came from, but you really want to go to the game. So you will go, "Wow, I've always liked you. Yeah, I'll take those tickets." You have not fixed the problem. You have only made it worse because now he has also accepted a prohibited gift. So don't re-gift and think you've solved it by giving it away. We have a solution for you, but it is not passing it on to your fellow council members. So don't, if you realize you accepted a gift you shouldn't have, call us and we'll help you through it. Okay, so let's talk about this. A city library employee received a $25 gift card from a member of the public after helping that person locate certain books for a specific research project. May the librarian, the employee, accept the gift? What do you guys think? What is this for? What is she getting this gift for? For what? For doing a good job. So what is it? Well, it's a little bit more than that, right? What did you tip your server for? What is she getting this for?
Doing her job.
What does that make this?
Doing her job.
It makes it a tip, right?
Because she did.
And remember I said tips are prohibited by the code except for it's one specific circumstance. So in this situation, this librarian may not accept this gift. You cannot accept a gift for completing a task that is a part of your duties. And I'm going to go back to that same place where they said, "Ma'am, that's just teamwork." The guy said, "Well, what if the card, and I think I embellished and said, "So the card says, 'Thank you so much for helping me with my project.'" And the guy said, "Well, what if we just threw the card away? Then it would just be for being a good librarian." I was like, "Oh, we need to start over. We need to definitely start this class over." Not us, them. But that is the difference. If somebody just drops off a gift card and says, "Thanks for being a great public servant," acceptable, right? Mm-hmm. What makes this not acceptable is the fact that it was for a specific instance of being a good public servant. So the difference really is the intent behind it or what is conveyed to the people. So no tips. What about this? City employees attending a conference for her job, directly related to her job. Does she have to report this attendance as a gift? The hotel and the attendance, the travel, the whole thing. Nope, it's one of the exceptions. Nobody would go to a conference if we had to report these as gifts. So no, you do not. That's a specific exception. What about, here we go, you inadvertently accepted a gift from a prohibited source. We know you're not going to slide it over to him. So what are you going to do? If you inadvertently, what's that? Call us. First of all, we'll help you out. What else can you do? Anybody have any ideas?
You can maybe make a charitable contribution,
You
a
can't.
donation.
That's a good idea. I wish we could do that. The nice thing for you is give it back. Who said it? Yeah, give it back. Yeah, send those tickets back. Or if, let's say you got 2 Sunfest tickets and you already went and they were worth $150, pay back $50. Get yourself down to that $100 level. The beautiful thing for you guys is you guys report quarterly, and there's what? You must do it within 90 days of accepting the gift. So we're most likely going to figure that out before your 90 days of fixing it is up. So, but we're here to help. We really are. So yes, you can fix the problem. You have to reimburse or give it back or reimburse over the $100 within 90 days of accepting the gift. Okay? Charitable solicitations. How does this apply? Anybody know? I'll tell you, you used to not be able to do this, but the code now allows for that because the nonprofits were the ones that were being penalized by this. So we can request charitable contributions on behalf of a nonprofit as long as we file a charitable solicitation log. And you can't solicit anybody with a current bid pending with the city for the exact reason as before. Hey, will you donate $10,000 to my charity? And then they feel like they have to give you the money or they're not going to get their contract. So you can't solicit from somebody who has a pending bid proposal in front of your city. All right? Okay, we're going to talk about these 4 other quick little issues. Travel expenses. So they are prohibited. You can't accept travel expenses from any of these entities, contractor, vendor, service provider, bidder, or proposer, unless it's waived in advance. So if you guys sent out a bid and got a whole bunch of new equipment from somebody and that equipment was back in Washington and they wanted to fly your people out there and train them, that's okay as long as it's approved in advance, and that makes sense because the vendor should bear those costs instead of the public. So just make sure that it gets waived in advance of the travel occurring. Okay, disclosure of inside information. So there's a prohibition against using inside information that is gained through your public position or employment for your benefit or anybody else's personal benefit when that information is not yet available to the general public. So the pernicious planner, a staff member has drafted several options for the extension of a major road. She realizes that the commission has informally selected an option and the information is not yet available to the general public. Is she allowed to purchase that land hoping to sell it at a premium?
No.
Can she tell her little sister to buy the land?
No.
Her little sister's best friend?
No.
No, you can't disclose that information. You can't. It's a violation of the, it's a violation. No, I mean, not only is it just purely unethical in a bigger sense, it's a violation of the code, which is why it's there. So no, you can't, it's use of inside information for personal gain. So there's also a nepotism section in the code for those of you that aren't familiar with this. Anybody who appoints, employs, promotes, or advances is prohibited from doing so if that person is a close family relative, spouse, or domestic partner. So the same definition under the code. So just make sure that that doesn't happen. With the exception of certain advisory boards, cities with a population under 35,000 may appoint these persons to boards other than those with land planning and or zoning responsibilities. So are you guys, how big is Pahokee? Under that, so that would apply here. Okay, honesty in application. Any person seeking to become an official or employee or seeking a promotion with their public employer or seeking a contract with a county or municipal government is prohibited from lying or making any false statement on their application, submitting any false document, or knowingly withholding any information about wrongdoing in connection with employment. I know this seems like a no-brainer, but it can come back. You know, if you're trying to get a contract with somebody and you've embellished your credentials, you can lose your contract if we find out. So it's a big deal. Not to mention there'll be a code violation in there. So just be honest about your credentials. If you're trying to get an advancement, don't embellish. Just be honest about or you know, anything you put on paper, just be honest. So enforcement by the commission. We are a civil code enforcement board. So the sanctions are letter of reprimand or letter of instruction. There can be a fine, so up to $500 per violation, and then restitution if that's necessary. So if you accepted a gift or something like that where you shouldn't have, the commission may impose restitution. And finally, one important thing to remember is that we can and will refer to the state attorney's office if it does rise to the level of criminal behavior. And it may be punishable, you know, by, I mean, this says a first-degree misdemeanor, but whatever the charge it is that it's going to go along with it, it's going to be punishable. The other thing to remember is that even if your municipality does nothing or your county does nothing and the state attorney does nothing, or I'm sorry, even if we do nothing and the state attorney does nothing, your agency can still take action. So just, you know, do your best to stay inside the code and call us if you have any questions. Anybody? Not bad, on time. Anybody have any questions? Nope?
Mr. Mayor?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Well, more like a statement. I think you guys should update that with your, with the one that's on your website. So
On this?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. You have better examples for this
On
one.
the website?
Yeah, no, you have better examples here than on the website.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
the online training?
The online training?
You know,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. But we're really trying to push people to do it in person because we think it's so much more valuable to have. So yes, you're not wrong. We do need to update the video training, but we like coming out and hanging out with people. So thank you. But yes, I'll pass that on. I'm not the boss. Any questions? Anybody?
Yeah, do you have any of the books? I know normally bring the books they can pass out. So I know you're not gonna remember all that, but I know I always get the books that always.
We don't have any more books. They updated the code and they haven't reprinted the books. So no, the answer is no. Yes, I know we should, and no, we don't have any more books, and I'm sorry. But just call me if you have questions. And it's on the website. Yep. Well, you're not, are you required to take it? You are? Then for who? Who's requiring you to take it? You'll have to, if you're required to take it, you have to sign it with them. It's, you'll have to keep that on file with whatever agency. So you guys will fill out your form and it will be on file with the city of Pahokee. We don't keep those. The frequency of ethics training is set by your agency, not by the county. Yes? Everybody good? All right. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next at this time, we'll have our public service announcement, public comments, and city clerk. At this time, do we have any public comments card completed by the
Yes, sir.
residents?
Mr. Joshua Brown?
Hello, good afternoon to our mayor, vice mayor, commission, city manager, attorney, and our clerk, and to each and every one of you, the citizens of Pahokee, Florida. I am actually here just to give a thanks on tonight. I've been meaning to do this for the last couple of meetings, but it's been a lot going on. But once I received the message from an individual this evening, I thought that this was the opportune time to do it. And so what I want to do is I want to first address the city and the city commission and say thank you so much on behalf of J. Brown Funeral and Cremation Services, because we do thank you guys so much for listening to the concerns of our citizens in regards to the Port Minyaca Cemetery. We want to say thank you so much for the staff. They have been very pleasant, to the families, and we have gotten, some feedback from the families. And so I do have a anonymous message that I just want to read to you guys, just so that the families do appreciate the work and the changes that you guys have made. And the message reads, "Hello, Mr. Brown. Thank you so much for receiving this message on behalf of our family. If you can, please be so kind to deliver this message to the city of Pahokee and to the Port Minyaca staff. Me and my family are very glad of the changes that were made, and we also thank you so much for them handling us with professionalism through our time of grief. We thank them so much for their kindness and compassion during this difficult time. Thank you on behalf of our family. I know I sent this message anonymously, but thank you so much for giving it to the staff." And so I want to say thank you guys so much. And also, I want to say to the citizens of Pahokee, at this time, a change has come. And so we do know that the new elected commissioners, we can't do it alone. And so we cannot do this alone. So what I want to say is, let's give them the opportunity to make some changes. Let's give them the opportunity to work with the fellow commissioners that are already here. And one thing about it is that when we see different things that are going on in our city, don't expect the city to come and knock on your door. I mean, when they post different things, let's get involved. I mean, when they, at the bottom of each flyer, it's always a contact person. So if you need to know anything about any event, Mrs. Jocelyn's name is at the bottom. I started interacting with those events because I took the advantage of going to the city, asking how can I be of any assistance to the events that go on in our community. I know a lot of us say they don't put them out there as much. A lot of them say it's not what we want, but how could it be what you want if you do not show up to attend, first of all, and also if you do not go to ask how you can help those events to improve. So again, we want to say thank you so much, and again to the city of Pahokee and to the commission, we thank you as well.
Are there any additional comments?
Miss Annie Core.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say that I'm so happy that we have the commissioners that are sitting now. And I just want to say to them that go with your heart. I know you have friends that sit up there with you, but make the right decision on our city. Don't look at your friend and say, well, I'm going to vote with her. Don't do that. Look in your heart. We voted for you. Do the right thing. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Miss Thelma Freeman. Mr. Carl Morrison.
Good evening, everyone. Carl Morrison, Sr. To the mayor, vice mayor, commissioners, newly elected commissioners. I would like to say, on behalf of New Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church, the Wiley and William family, say thank you for the resolution that was presented to their mother on her homegoing service 2 weeks ago. Really, people don't know what it means when a city give a family resolution. And for those who do not know who Mother William was, she was one of the 3 longest surviving members of the storm of 1928. The city had a bench ceremony about 3 months ago, and it was beautiful to see as for the 3 survivors holding hands, talking and praying. In other words, it represented unity in the community. And if we ever needed that, we need it now. And to the newly elected commissioners, I say congratulations to you. Thank you. To the previous 2, I say thank you for your service. And to the 2 that was not elected, I say thank you for willing to serve the community. So it takes all of us. I don't care where you fall on the spectrum, it takes all of us. So I hope from here on out, unity in the community. That does not mean you're going to agree with everything, and you shouldn't. It's okay to agree to disagree. As long as you have the city at heart, we always back you. Be blessed.
Thank you. We don't have any consent agenda items. Next, we'll have our old business of discussion of any existing activities or previously held events, if any. City Manager.
None, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we're moving to our public hearings and ordinances. We have one ordinance 2024-01, City Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, amending Article 2, Section 2-29, entitled Order of Business, renumbering and reordering as necessary, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation?
Yes, sir. During our March 26 meeting, commission meeting, Mayor Babb requested amending the city commission agenda layout to reflect public comments at the beginning of the meeting and general public comments at the end. So with that said, an example of that, if you turn to page 15 in here, you will see the outlay of the new order so that you guys know. So it's the following order: A, call to order; B, invocation and pledge allegiance; C, roll call; D, addition of emergency basis from city manager, deletions and approval of agenda items. We have a strike through on E, which is the public comments, public service announcements being struck out of here and leaving presentation, proclamations, public service announcements, and public comments for agenda items only. F, consent agenda. G, old business. H, public hearing and or ordinances. I, resolution. J, new business, presentation by city manager, activity of upcoming event, if any. Then K, report of the mayor. L, report of the city manager. M, report of the city attorney. N, the future agenda items of commissioners, if any. And O, the addition there is the general public comments, items not on the agenda. And then P, commission comments for the good of the order, and Q, for adjournment.
Thank you, City Manager. And just briefly, the main changes is to have public comments done, continue to be done at the beginning of the meeting, but they would be for agenda items only. And then at the end of our meeting, the public can also speak again on comments that they would like to make as a general comment. Doesn't have to be an agenda item. I don't want to have individuals have to stay the entire meeting to speak on something that's in this agenda that we should know whether you're in favor of it or you're against it or your opinion on that item. So we're not taking anything from you. We're giving you a little more, but just in a different order. And to be honest, the commission meeting is designed to go through this agenda, and comments that we're having on occasion has had nothing to do with agenda items, and it's been a total distraction in some areas, not all. So we just want to clean that up to have a more professional meeting, that we can have a better portrayal of who we are as a city. And again, this would be a first reading. If it does pass on the first reading, there will be a second reading, and the citizens will also have an opportunity to comment on this particular ordinance, so you can have some input. So City Commission, hearing the city attorney having properly read this ordinances in our minutes, having our city manager properly explain it, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we will accept ordinance 2024-01.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the adoption of ordinance 2024-01 on first reading. Call for questions.
I have a question. Given that we're pushing the general public comments back, will citizens have a bit more time to turn in their public comments card? Or are we gonna keep that the same? Like, I think it's a few minutes after the commission meeting starts now?
It would be the same. That's how it is right now.
Okay.
Also, one question, but they will still have the 3 minutes in both the, 3 minutes in the agenda items and 3 minutes also for the, okay. Just want to make that clarity for the 3 minutes.
Hearing no additional question, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden.
Yes.
Commissioner Cowan Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson.
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next, we'll move to our resolutions. First resolution is Resolution 2024-09, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute grant agreements between qualified applicants and the City of Pahokee for the city's minor home repair program as set forth in Exhibit A attached hereto, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, can you give us a brief explanation?
Yes, this is bringing back the names, the list of the 27 people. It was approved about 3 commission meetings ago for $135,000, bringing the total for this section of minor home repair to $477,500 to cover up to $5,000 per qualifying household. This will be the 5th batch. The city is seeking approval to award 27 qualifying residents for approval of the minor home repair. So Exhibit A, if you look at page 22 in your packet, is those names that you'll be approving.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard our City Attorney properly read this ordinance, this resolution into the record, having our City Manager properly explain it, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bear, I move that we will adopt Resolution 2024-09.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner McPherson for the adoption of Resolution 24-09. Call for questions.
I have a question. Does this officially close out our ARPA minor home repair program?
Yes.
Are there any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden.
Yes.
Commissioner Cowan Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to Resolution 2024-10, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute grant agreements between qualified applicants and the City of Pahokee for the COVID-19 residential utilities and rental assistance program, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Clerk, City Attorney, City Manager. Brief explanation.
Yes, sir. This is, under ARPA, it's the Residential Utilities and Rental Assistance Program. It's up to $1,500 per qualifying household or renter. Requesting approval of 2 qualifying residents for a total of $2,000 is what staff is seeking and recommending approval. On page 27, you will see the 2 names, and you'll see one is for rental assistance and one is for relocation, and the relocation is still within the City of Pahokee.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard our City Attorney properly read this resolution into the record, properly explained by our City Manager, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we accept Resolution 2024-10.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McPherson and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2024-10. Call for questions.
Question, does this officially close out the ARPA rental and utilities utilities program?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Having heard none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to Resolution 2024-11. City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving change order number 26 to Resolution 2021-02 pertaining to the Florida Department of Transportation FDOT contract G-1753 FM number 442-030-01541 Barfield Highway Reconstruction Project as set forth in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, can you give us a brief explanation of this resolution?
Yes, this is a change order that was presented to us and by Rosso Development. And this is change order number 26 for $10,586.91. It will be reimbursed, we will be reimbursed back by FDOT for the asphalt price adjustment. And just a brief explanation of the adjustment. The adjustment and where this asphalt went goes back into two different time periods. The asphalt was for May of 22 for the south end of what's it called? South Barfield, between 3rd and 2nd. And then June of 23, they had a layer of asphalt go towards 7th to 5th Street. And it was for a price calculation that I noticed it wasn't in here, but we'll make sure we provide, better backup to show the calculations.
Thank you. City Commission, having heard our City Attorney properly read this resolution into the record, properly explained by our City Manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move that we would adopt the resolution, and find it, I lost my page. Resolution 2024-11.
I'll second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Williams for the adoption of Resolution 2024-11. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we're moving to new business. Presentation by the City Manager of activities of upcoming events, if any. And at the top of that, we do have the swearing in of our Vice Mayor.
Selection.
Well, due to the internet failure, we got caught in the not printing the next events, but coming this Saturday will be I Love Pahokee.
Sorry.
Just one second.
Sorry.
Sorry. She's looking for it. Here, read it if you want to, man.
And while the city manager is looking for that, normally what we do on an annual basis, especially after an election, we choose and select a vice mayor. That particular person would have to have a motion and a second and a majority of 3 votes, and they would become the new or existing vice mayor.
Thank you for the explanation. And then, under new business, it says I should present the upcoming events. So the next 2 events we'll have is on a Saturday. So on the 13th, we'll have I Love Pahokee Day at Commission Park. The time, I believe, is going to be from 10 to 2. And then the next event will be Great American Cleanup on the 20th of April. And that'd be from 8:30 till noon. So that's all I had there. And then, Mayor, you had already brought up on page 33 the selection of vice mayor for the first meeting in April each year. For the city commission shall appoint from the sitting commissioners a vice mayor.
Any further instruction as far as the selection of the vice mayor, city attorney? You have any?
No, Mr. Mayor, just as you said, it will require a motion and a second and, of course, a vote.
Chair, I move that Commissioner Mervin is vice mayor.
I second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Cowan and properly second by Commissioner Bolden that the vice mayor would be Commissioner Clara Mervin. Current vice mayor Clara Mervin. Call for question. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam City Clerk.
Commissioner Calvin Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Congratulations to our Vice Mayor, Claire Mervin, as being selected, reappointed Vice Mayor. Next, we have the Palm Beach County League of Cities Voting Delegate Form. I thought we had did that one, but we can do it again.
We have new commissioners.
Oh, new commissioners, okay. Okay, at this time, what we'll do is also select our voting delegate for Palm Beach County League of Cities. Normally it's the mayor. It doesn't have to be the mayor. You can choose the vice mayor or other commission, but normally we have the mayors in that particular role, and then the other commission that's alternates. But however the commission choose to do it, that would be fine.
I move that Mayor Keith Babb be the voting delegate for the Palm Beach County League of Cities voting delegate.
I second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Cowens and properly second by Commissioner Bolden that the mayor continue to be the voting delegate for this year League of Cities voting. Call for questions. Haven't heard any. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry. Who motion and who second, sir?
It was
Cowan
moved
Williams
by
was 1, and 2 is Bolden.
Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Bolden.
Thank you. Commissioner Calvin Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we're moving to the mayor report. First of all, I would like to thank our newly elected commissioners, Commissioner Cowers and Commissioner McPherson. I am personally excited. I know the community is excited because you received the majority of the votes. I know your family is excited because they're here. But this commission, having went through a period where we need calmness, we need professionalism, we need a team working together for a common cause of moving the city forward. As someone indicated earlier, we're not going to always agree, but we certainly can always agree to disagree in a polite, professional manner. And I think we'll have that. I think what happened during the last year, you know, as uncommon as it may have been, we won't see that again. Not from this collective body. I don't feel that will be the case. So welcome aboard, and we certainly thank you for taking the obligation to serve your community. Next are just a few updates. The city installed a fishing cleaning station. We have 2 now on the pier. So that's something that fishermen can catch their fish and clean them right there and have fresh fish for tonight, fish and grits. So thank you for doing that. I just want to ask the city if we can just maybe add 2 more when the resource and the money get available. These are small cleaning stations, but they will do the job. There's water there that you can wash your fish off. You don't even have to take the guts and everything else away, because if you throw them in the lake, something would eat them in the storm, so you don't have to do that. So we're pleased for that, but I would like to see one with a small provision, at least a sign that said, and I think we're getting one that say fish cleaning station. So we can get 2 more, it'll be better spread out, so everyone will have the opportunity to utilize it if they need to. We talked about the I Love Pahokee Day on April the 13th, which is a Saturday from 10 to 12, and the Great American Cleanup on April the 20th from 8:30 to 2 p.m. We asking if you could, please come out and enjoy both of those events. Now the cleanup is a little, I'm saying enjoy, but sometimes it is an enjoyment to clean up or help clean up your city if you're not doing anything. And if you are and not able to come out and clean the city as a whole, please clean around your property and where you live, so we will have a domino effect on how our city look on that particular day. We have some blue-green algae. I just don't want anybody to be surprised about it. It just recently came out. It's summer months. Normally, very hot months, there's nothing we can do about it totally, but we are having some mitigating things put in place to help reduce it. The pumps was out. Those are being in service now, so we can re-put the pumps out there. That would help. So please don't overly complain. It's just something that's happening throughout the lake. It's just not Pahokee, but we do have a real issue during the summer in this time. Okay, and I also like to thank Palm Beach County Sheriff Department, Fire Rescue, Harvest Church, and every one of our seniors who came out for the prayer walk just this past Saturday. We have been listed in several publications of being the deadliest city in the state of Florida. We were listed in #1 in one publication, #3 in another, and #5 in another. I think totally, to be honest, we had about 174 crimes committed in Pahokee, which is not a great number, but for the size of our city, it brings us right up to the top. We recently had 2 homicides just within 60 days of each other. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to pray for our community. What we did is walk each block from Rawdon to South Lake, and each block we stopped to pray for this community. And then we had a program afterward where we had a keynote speaker. Pastor McIntosh was to be the speaker, but she felt ill, so she sent her Reverend Crawford to do the keynote. So I think it was a great turnout. Could have been more, but it was live streamed in some cases, so the word got out. And we all know when there are two or more, and for God's sake, he is also in the midst. So I think our prayer will answer, but we got to continue to pray for our community. We must do that. We must do that. And we got to reach out as much as possible to try to reach these younger generation, especially the boys who are dealing with this crime issue. And there's things that we have to do, create jobs, opportunities, and other things that would lessen what's occurring in our community. But I think with everyone pulling together and looking out for each other, it can be accomplished. So thank you for that. And at this time, we'll move into the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. Unfortunately, we had the internet debacle, so I didn't have an opportunity to finish the city manager report and get it out to you guys. But I wanted to first and foremost welcome the two new commissioners, and I look forward to meeting with you if you guys have an opportunity this week, so I can go around and introduce you to staff and the directors and talk about you guys' vision coming in. Also, I received, even though it's not a city event, it's senior prom night, Saturday, June 1st at the Eddie Rose Gymnasium. So I just wanted to put that out there. Also, Mayor, just to address or piggyback on what you were saying about the blue-green algae. So I reached out myself and also Jocelyn to South Florida Water Management. So tomorrow they're going to come out. We have a pump we bought, but we're having problems with the connection. So they're going to help us get that connected. And if we need an extra pump, they're going to bring out an additional pump. So we're getting on that. So I appreciate you bringing that up. That at our next commission meeting, April 23rd, like to have a workshop where we can sit down and discuss what's going to be the vision of this new diocese and what you guys want to see done. So we can have it at 5 and roll up our sleeves and bring this city back around like you guys envisioned it years ago. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Now we'll move to the city attorney report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very briefly, I just want to congratulate the two new commissioners. I can already tell you that they're off to a great start. I've met with both of them and done some legal training to include state ethics laws, local Palm Beach County ethics laws, the Sunshine Law, public records, Robert's Rules, and they were both very engaged, and I look forward to working with both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to future agenda items, if any, from the city commission, and we'll start with the vice mayor. If you have any items you'd like to see added on our future agenda.
Yes, Mayor. The city manager brought up one for the next city commission meeting, that we have a workshop. Not only the one, also we can have a workshop on projects updates. If we can have the economic development director come in with all projects and put an update of all the projects.
Okay.
Also, if we can also bring back transfer trucks. We know we have a lot of them now parked within our city limits, so we can see how we can address that. They're parked on sidewalks, they're parked everywhere within the city limits, so we need to kind of address trucks now within the city limit. I know we started that a while ago, and it didn't, now we need to address that. Number three, ZAP board. We know we have their commissioners now, so we need to get 2 new alternates for our ZAP board. So we need to bring that back up also for 2 new alternates. So we don't want anyone to sit on the ZAP board. Hey, we need 2 new alternates for our ZAP board. And Mayor Babb, the prayer walk. If we can, and I'm just asking, if we can even do a prayer walk right now monthly. I know we don't have to have like a service like they had in the park, But right now, it is, to me, I think it's a needful in our community right now. I know we had a lot of a lot of people didn't show up, but it doesn't matter if one person show up. But that we could have a prayer walk at least monthly in our community until, things slow down a little bit. I think prayer still works. And if we could just meet somewhere and just have a monthly prayer walk in the community.
Do you want to add that as an agenda item so we can officially just vote on
Yes, sir.
doing that? That would be great. Okay. You're done.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now we'll move to Commissioner Cowens.
None at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Bowden.
I was just going to mention the same thing she said about the trucks. Do we have signage as far as?
Not everywhere, but I'll be working with code enforcement, and we can order signs and see what we can do and have Public Works put out more stuff.
Okay.
Because I know PBSO does a great job of when a person deviates from taking the bypass and pulling them over, so we appreciate that. So,
Nothing else.
Thank you. I'd like to have a no answering question policy done, added to our commission agenda. What it is we normally don't answer questions when it's asked from the public, and it's not to cite anyone or not pay attention to who's asking the question, but that's how normally most commissioners does. Even the school board, even Palm Beach County Board of Commissioners, they does the same thing. What we would like to do is make sure we continue to have town hall meetings similar to the one we had just a few weeks ago, that we can answer questions, because those questions are important and they should be answered, but it would take up too much time to answer here. And some of the questions need some little research on doing it. But everyone, I believe, at the town hall who asked a question, who wanted to ask one, had the opportunity to do it, and we tried the best we can. And then you had the different entities, the departments were there to answer firsthand some of your concerns and questions. So I would like to have that officially as a policy, so it's written, so when people saying, I'm here waiting on my answer, they know it's our policy not to answer questions during commission meeting. And it's just consistent with any other board that's out there. And I would just like to have that added. Of course, if this commission feel we should continue to try to answer the question and not have a policy, I understand that too. But I'd like for us to discuss it, see if that's a good fit for this community and our commission, and move forward with it. The second thing I'd like to add on is the reestablishing our community boards. I know we got some that dormant, but we got to figure out why, and then replace those individuals that are not actually meeting or want to meet or want to serve on those particular boards. I think it's just important that our board meet at least quarterly, and we need to get them involved and make sure that things that they can be addressing, that they have an opportunity to address, whether the clerk or who's ever responsible for setting up the meeting so these boards could meet. I also want to just encourage us, we do have the youth council, that we should try our best to get that in place. We have 2 educators on this board. I would ask if you all, one at the high school, one at the middle school, meet with the principal and see what best avenue we can get to solicit or have those students complete an application. It's a small application, a regular board application, to serve on those boards. And I would go with maybe like the student government, whoever the sponsor there, to see if they have students who may be interested in serving. We have to get these youth more involved, and they can set policy suggestion to the commission, how we can best reach our young folks. But I think that first board is very, very important to get up. But in addition to that, all of our boards, let's find out what vacancies exist on each of the boards and make an effort to solicit or put it on the website showing what boards is available and encourage them to fill out applications so we can move these boards forward. That way the citizens have some buy-in to how we run and operate our city. And those would be my future agenda item suggestions. Now we'll actually move to Commissioner McPherson.
Yes, the first thing I want to do is thank all the citizens that came out and vote, whether even if you voted for me or not. But this community can only move forward if we all work together in unity. And again, I just want to thank everybody that came out and voted and did what you needed to do to move this process ahead. And I like some of the things that Mayor Babb is saying also, if we move to not have the comments, I would like to see quarterly workshops where we can have give the citizens a more opportunity. And in those workshops, I would like to see each department on a rotating basis come out and present, things that are going on in their department so the public can be aware of it. With that said, just moving on to some business. One of the things that been on my heart and that I want to try to make a priority, or that I hope that we can make a priority as a commission, is our campground. And the reason I'm thinking about our campground is because that's one of the things that could make us economically, is in itself economically sustainable. And we really need to look at that. I think I wrote through there and I took a look. I think right now we had about 18 trailers that are up there. I don't know how many slots are working, but I counted approximately 115 slots. So, I would like to find out how many of those are working, and let's try to get that campground moving forward. That's it from me.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move to commissioner comments and for the good of the order.
Mr. Mayor, before you move there, I just want to, just so that we have some directions about the future agenda items, whether you wanted to go through and have a motion and a second on them and a vote.
Okay. Yeah, we normally do that. On my first request for the no answering policy, could I get a motion if it's a desire of the commission and a second and a vote on it?
Mayor Babb, I move that we have a policy created on the no answering questions during commission meeting.
A second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Commissioner Coward and properly seconded by Commissioner Bowden that we add for future agenda items a no answering policy. Call for question. Hearing none. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cowan-Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson?
Yes, but could I do an addendum to that? Just recommend that we have the quarterly town hall meetings.
We actually have one on record to
Okay.
do it at least at a minimum recorded.
Okay.
We can still
Yes.
add it to it just for emphasis on it.
Yes.
Okay. Hearing no additional questions, roll call, Madam. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Oh, we already voted on, okay.
We'll finish it. We
Okay, I'm
will
sorry.
finish on the vote. Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Babb?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Motion passed by unanimous decision. The second one is to make sure all of our community boards are up and running, our city boards, and we're gonna get some direction on that by having the city clerk give us a list of all the boards and all the ones that's dormant and all the ones that need additional residents to serve on it.
Ms. Mayor, is that more, just to put it out, is that more of a directive to the city manager as opposed to, do you want legislation drafted on that? Or is that more of a direction you all want to give as a group to the manager to do that?
Yeah, I don't think we need legislation
Okay.
drafted. I just wanted to at least discuss it, so we'll have it on the agenda basis. So I don't think it needs an additional legislation.
New item and just discussion, discussion and direction?
Right.
Okay. All right.
And since it's being added as an agenda item, I would ask for a motion and a second to have that included on our next agenda. Discussion of boards, appointment, and reestablishment.
Of the board. Mayor, may I make a motion that we will have a reestablishment of the community boards?
I second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Cowan that we have added to our agenda the discussion of a community board, the reestablishment of each of the boards. Call for question. Hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Motion passed by unanimous vote. And Commissioner Mike Pearson, what was your topic to have on the agenda?
We're good. We can table mine. I'll sit down with the city manager on some of the stuff that I was talking about.
And what we could do, Mayor, is have it as a discussion on the next one for quarterly meetings and fill out the spots so
Right.
that you feel comfortable.
Yes.
So we're gonna have a topic quarterly meeting, and then our city manager will have some, with our input, topics of what we want to make sure is discussed during that. And to give the community advance notice to some of the things that we're gonna be talking about during those quarterly workshops. And we'll just officially go ahead as a motion and a second and just make sure it's on the agenda for our next commission meeting.
So what's that motion for, a quarterly
Town hall.
town hall?
Right.
I thought we already had
We
that.
have it on there, but this more for the discussion is what we're gonna do in the future for town halls. So Lucas will give us some topic. We will add to that if need to. I think at the last town hall, which worked really well, we had 3 departments that come and talk about with slide presentation and everything. So it was really beneficial, I think, to the community to get good updates on what was happening and an opportunity to ask questions. So bottom line is we do have where we supposed to have quarterly meetings, town hall, and I think we are doing that. But this just to make it a little more official.
So we make a motion that we have quarterly workshop with specific topics at the town hall? That's what you want? Okay.
No.
Well, that's a motion.
Mainly, I was more concerned about the town hall, just giving the public opportunities to maybe ask questions at the town hall versus in our meetings.
Right. So maybe I make a motion that we have quarterly workshops with specific
Town hall.
Town hall.
We gonna
I'm
call-
sorry.
yeah.
Town hall. Town halls for different topics of discussion.
Right.
I second.
Yes, has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bowden. That we add to our agenda the topic of town hall meetings. Call for question. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner Calvin Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to Commissioner comments, events of feel-good
What
announcement.
about the other,
I missed some?
yeah,
What I missed?
the ones that I have in future?
Oh, I'm sorry, could you list what you wanted for future agenda items? Sorry,
Can I
Commissioner.
put them all on the one? I knew them
You
all
can put it-
separate. They go separate? The first one with the update on all projects for a workshop at our next commission meeting for updates on all, projects.
Second.
Okay. It is moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Cowan that we have added to our agenda an update on all our projects. Call for question. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab, I just want to clarify, is it to have a workshop at the next meeting, or
Yes.
is it to add
To
it?
have a workshop at the next meeting.
Okay.
So prior to our
Prior to the
next
meeting,
upcoming meeting,
it'll be
we'll have a
called for a
workshop prior to that. Okay.
Okay. Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Cowan Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote.
The next one, Mayor, I make a motion that we would, have the city attorney to, or have a discussion at our next meeting for, trucks within the city limits. Oversized trucks, like transfer 18-wheelers within the city limits.
That was your motion?
That's the motion.
Mr. Mayor, may I just direct a question? Are you looking for really planning to come and do something like that? Because I can just tell you what you have in your books, but if you want to have a discussion about what you want to see or what you want to tell your, planner, that's really a more appropriate question for your planner.
Right, because I know in the past, we had a discussion with trucks being parked within the city limits, because if you ride through the city, you see transfers on the side of the road, you see them in yards, you see them on sidewalks, and we started doing an ordinance, but for some reason, I guess because they didn't have anywhere to go or to park, that we canceled the discussion. Now, since I know on State Market Road, there's 2 locations that transfer trucks can park their transfer trucks and be safe, because they're gated in. And so we need to get them out of the city limits, within the residential area and to another location.
Yes, ma'am, and I was only suggesting that if you have that discussion, I will be able to listen to it and understand what in the code needs to be done, but you really need a planner to be involved with that discussion. And so and I know the city is working with someone right now, so I think I'm just suggesting that maybe what will advance the conversation a little bit further, because my job will be easier, but I'm not your planner. I don't want to overstep what I would do. So if the manager can check and see whether the group that he's working with now, somebody can be available, then I think we'll get further with that.
I'll ask Tom Lanahan with Treasury Coast Regional Planning to see if he's available for the 23rd.
Okay.
To have that discussion, or as soon as he, available.
Okay, then you just bring it back to us. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll
Planner.
scratch that one until he come back with more information on that. The next one will be the ZAP board. Make a motion that we will choose 2 alternates for our ZAP board, because right now they have no alternates for the ZAP board. So that's the
is it
motion.
alternates or replacements?
They need 2 alternates.
I wasn't an alternate. I have 2 more. I have another 2 years on there, so I wasn't an
What
alternate.
they did was they took the alternates and they made them the members of the ZAP board. So now they have no alternates on the ZAP board.
Okay. We have applicants on file that wanting to serve on the ZAP board that we can choose as an alternate, or do we need?
You're gonna need to, I'm not sure they have any, but I know they took the alternates that we had and moved them over to because Commissioner McPherson and Commissioner Cowan was now on, so now they're on the board itself, so they have no alternates now.
They're not officially on the board. They're stepping in if there's not enough members. So they're stepping in. They're not the actual members. But we still need to appoint individuals, or you can appoint the alternates to become the members and then appoint 2 more alternates. But either way it goes, they're not the official, they're not replacing them, they're alternates. So if all members are not present, they can step in and vote on it. The meeting doesn't have to be canceled.
So let me ask this question. So when I attended the ZAP board meeting, they voted among themselves to fill in. Is that allowable?
No,
Or does
it,
it have
no,
to
it
be-
is
shouldn't have
not.
voted.
No,
They-
it's
they
the
shouldn't have
commission
voted.
has to do it.
So that's two-part thing we gotta do. Replace the two that left and also two alternates, so that's four altogether.
My question is currently, and the clerk may be able to answer, do we currently have any on application on file for those that board?
Their internet is not working, so I can't pull up
Okay.
the files. I know one that was left on there. I know Miss Regina Bowling was one of the applicants that was left, and I think that's the only applicant that's left.
Okay, if we're gonna add it to the agenda, that means that the commission is gonna have to seek people who may be interested so they can have an application filled. So at the next meeting, if we decide we wanna make that a point, we'll at least have someone to choose from.
Well, I can go back when in the office tomorrow and email you guys what applicants we do have and the list of who's already on the board and who needs to appoint, because I think each commissioner appoints one member. So if that individual, whoever appointed Miss Commissioner Cowan Williams, will select someone to replace her.
And McPherson.
He resigned. He was already.
Well, no, actually, I think I had a year term. My term had,
Yeah.
Right. So,
And last but not least, Mayor, you said to make a motion for the monthly prayer walk. So I'd like to make a motion that you said to make a motion to have it on the agenda.
Yeah, we're just gonna add it to
Just
the
add to the
agenda, and then
agenda.
at that time, we can approve if the
Okay.
commission as a whole decide
motion
that
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 we
would be a
add
good
that to the
idea.
agenda.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we got a motion by Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin.
I'll second.
And a second by Commissioner Cowan to add to our next agenda the item of monthly prayer walks. Call for questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Cowan Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden.
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson.
yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move into comments of the City Commission for the good of the order. And I'm gonna start with Commissioner McPherson and move himself down to the right.
Again, the only thing I want to do is just thank all of the citizens that came out and vote, and let's work together in unity and move our city forward.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bowden.
This feels good. That's it.
Commissioner Cowan.
Good evening to the residents of Pahokee and all that are listening near and far. I first would like to say, to give honor to the Spirit of Christ who's the head of my life, and allow me to be here to sit in this seat. Also, I want to say thank you to my husband who has left, who has been so patient with me in this process, and I thank him for continuing to support me on this journey. I also want to say thank you to the residents of Pahokee, my family, and all my supporters, and all those who did not vote for me. I'm here for you as well. I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent you. I will not take this opportunity lightly. I will not take this opportunity lightly. I thank you for trusting in me to sit in this seat. I promise to represent you in a professional manner, serving the city with dignity and honesty, and strive to bring unity in the community, which we know is what we need. So I will work to do that as well. And I also want to make sure that I'm supporting any initiatives to move the city forward. And I would just like to say, I started out on yesterday. We said that we don't have anything in the city to do. So yesterday, myself and some teachers, along with the assistant principal, we took our computers. We went out into the community to let the parents know what summer programs we have that we're offering in the city of Pahokee. And we did make it out to the trailer park across from McClure. We made it out to East Lake Village as well. And so we will be going out for the rest of this week. Since, you know, a lot of the residents are not coming to us, we're taking the services to them. And that's one of my missions, to make sure that they are aware of the different services that we do have in the community. So we're taking it out to them and want to bridge the gap and bring all of us together and work as a community. Thank you. I love you, Pahokee.
Thank you.
Real short, I just wanted to say welcome aboard to the City Commission, and I'm like Commissioner Bolden. It feels good. It feels good. It feels good. I didn't eat a whole bag of candy tonight, like I normally do. But I just want to say thank you again to the commission, to also them to instilling me again as the vice mayor and as Commissioner Council. I don't take it lightly. I know as the vice mayor, I take it seriously, and Mayor Bell tell you that I attend meetings that he can't attend, and when he's one place, I'm somewhere else. But it's easy to sit there, and it's something to sit up here. But we here to represent the whole city. We don't look at the color, we don't look at the nationality. We represent the city of Pahokee. Anytime you need, we live within this community. We want to see best for this community. So I'm just asking that we all can work together when we hear events going on. It's not just for the commission to attend the events. Let us all attend the events. Let us all, if you hear about it, each one can reach one. You tell your neighbor, that neighbor tell that neighbor, and we can all come out and enjoy the events. Instead of bashing the events, let's come out and let's enjoy the events together. You know, like the prayer walk. If we all come out together, it was about an hour or 2 hours long. You know, just sacrifice a little time for our community. We were walking for the violence within our community. It might not be at my doorstep now, but it could be at my doorstep later. But we're standing in the gap for the families that have bodies that's laying on the ground. It's a senseless murder. I might not know the family, but we're standing in the gap for that family. So we're asking that we all come together. The next event is the I Love Pahokee Day. If everybody say I love Pahokee, let's come out and let's show I Love Pahokee Day. We have the cleanup day. Let us all come out and pick up the paper within our community. This is our community. And we can pick up the paper, get lawnmowers or whatever, and make our community clean. If we don't do it, who's gonna do it? It's not just for the Public Works Department to do it, it's for all of us to do it. So I'm telling you, I feel good up here today. We're getting out here, 5 minutes to 8. This is great. This is great. Let's continue this. Let's work together. Let's work in unity. I love everybody. Let's move forward, City of Pahokee.
And lastly, I would just like to thank our residents for you attending these city commission meetings. I always say that, you know, Bill Glade is hard on their football team. When I say that, when they start losing, that coach is gone. But y'all are hard on your elected officials, and rightly so. Don't mind the criticism if that's constructive criticism. It should be given, and we take that as a lesson to learn. But the way you all behave and handle yourself, and it was a trial to commission meeting tonight, no talking, nothing that would distract us from doing our business. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think the future is bright for us, and we will move it forward. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, what we can do is like have a church, each church kind of spearhead that month that they would kind of help organize their prayer walk. And I've spoken with Ms. Adams too, our special event board that took the place of our centennial board. We need to tie into them too and make sure that when we have these special events, they're part of the planning and helping with it if they choose to do that. But we want to encourage them to do it. But yes, you're right. We'll make sure the churches will take the lead. Each church rotate and take the lead on doing it to help us a lot. Okay.
I would like to see at the town hall meeting, and I'm sure everybody else would, that all the commissioners would show up.
Absolutely.
That way, they know what we're, what we're asking for.
We're hearing that, so we'll definitely make it out of top priority to be there at each of the town hall meetings. Thank you so much. At this time, I entertain a motion for the adjournment of the meeting.
So move, man.
Moved by Vice Mayor Mervin.
Second.
Second by, both by newly elected commissioners. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin, Commissioner,
Yes.
Commissioner McPherson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
No.
Commissioner, Calvin Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, motion to adjourn has been approved by unanimous vote at 8:10 p.m.